Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Chortle Cast. I'm one of your hosts for tonight, Jake, and with me, as always, he's the Stream King. He's the Far Cry guy. He's the man that may cry devil. He's the double dog dad, the roguelite lad, and he's pissed that Pokemon Arceus made his favorite Pokemon a drug dealing weed head. Steven, what's up, buddy?
Not my favorite Pokemon. It really seems like he's less on the lines of dealing and more on the lines of using.
They took something you loved and they made it a
did. They did. That's the story, you know? That's so typical.
There you go. We've talked about Pokemon Arceus now, so we can move on. We don't have to talk about it ever again. Just kidding. That's not what we're doing, because this is Chortle Cast, the official podcast of Chortle Games. We talk about video games, TV shows, movies, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. We got a great show for you this week. The week started with a banger, everybody. Just coming out swinging. We thought the Xbox buying Activision thing was crazy, and I still think that probably tops this, but Sony has now bought Bungie. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to chat about it.
The bigger story is that Sony doesn't know how to haggle. That's the story.
What we've learned is that Sony does not understand money, but that's okay. Yeah. We're going to talk about it. And then, of course, we will be talking about Pokemon Arceus throughout the show, or towards the end of the show, because we are real excited about it. We're liking it a lot. So I'm going to throw up my... I'm going to throw out my gameplay there for you. I'm in the middle of a battle, but I'm going to keep talking. What's up, Joe? What's up, Austin? But yeah, so let's jump in, talk about Sony. Now, I touched it briefly, and I'm sure most people have seen at this point that Xbox acquired Activision, just because that, that was a big story when it happened. But that happened last week, and we haven't covered it on the podcast yet because Steve and I kind of gone back and forth about it. It's just there's a lot of speculation. That's all we really have right now is speculation. We don't even know at this point for sure if COD, for example, is going to stay on PlayStation. We're pretty sure. We've heard from Phil Spencer that he intends to, but there is not like a, hey, everybody, this is for sure happening. So anyway, lots of speculation. We didn't want to talk about it. We had other things to talk about. We really wanted to do that AI painting. That was the week that happened. I think we were just like, let's.
That was a good choice.
That was a great choice. It was much better. We had a lot more fun. But anyway, now we're here. Now we're here where Sony has not necessarily retaliated, but Sony has now done its own thing and bought.
It was total Bungie. Retaliation.
Yeah, but like and like we talked about before the stream started, these deals take time, and so it was probably a retaliation to
make this happen when it did. They were probably in talks, but
I think they were definitely in talks just because these things take a long time. Now you could say it was retaliation to say what's the other place not Blizzard, golly, it starts with a B, I think. They have a big show. They made no, did they make BioShock?
I think that's 2K.
Who am I thinking? Steven, I can't. The word is just escaping my brain. Who is the other big place that they bought? They made Skyrim. We're not getting...
Oh, Bethesda.
Thank you, Bethesda. Stuck on the tip of my brain. You could say that this is a response to buying Bethesda, because I don't remember exactly how much Xbox bought Bethesda for. I want to say it was like 7 billion, 6 billion. This is kind of a thank you, Joe. I appreciate that you came in for me. This is like, to me, this is kind of on that level. That is a parallel purchase.
Well, Bethesda makes successful games like consistently.
Steven, you can't argue though that Bungie.
I said games. Bungie has one game that they have been needing to survive, needing to succeed ever since they went independent, and so now it's like, I don't know. I don't see them being worth near that much, because Destiny, in terms of like, they're not a Call of Duty in terms of like annual revenue, but they make money, but like not that kind of money. I just that's well. Even before we started, we kind of were looking around and could not nail down how much Bungie makes
in a given year. But the estimate, which is a hilarious estimate, the estimate is that they were making between 100 million or 500 million, which is a
stupidest
huge range. So who knows? But also it was saying that Bungie is supposedly in 2022, its estimated like net worth, I guess, was $2 billion. So Sony saw that and said, "We got money. We can double it, make it triple." Like, I don't know why they went that hard, but they did.
How is that their net worth though? I don't. Where is that money?
Bungie. I mean, Destiny, Steven. I mean, I know you don't like it. I know you don't like it, but it makes that much.
It does not make that much though. Like, this isn't a matter of me saying, like, this is not my bias talking. Destiny makes money. It does not make that money.
How much?
And for them to, like, you can't. Destiny is not going to make as much as it did in its heyday, and so purchasing Bungie at this point.
So Destiny is estimated to make between 8.6K to 10.8K a month. Oh no, I'm sorry. No. This is a YouTuber. Why is there a YouTuber named Destiny?
But my point being, Destiny 2 is very deep in its life cycle, and with a game like this, its value more often than not goes down the longer it's live, because player base goes away and you don't retain player base, especially with a game like Destiny. You're not bringing in new players. They're playing a retention game, and they're retaining people really well. That's its strength. But you can't say that Destiny makes that much money this deep in its life cycle, because it's been going for a very long time and it's not as popular as it was in its peak. And it wasn't worth that. I don't think it would have been worth that in its heyday. That's what I just want to see where the justification is for a studio that has created one game in the past. I mean, when did Destiny 1 come out? Like 2013, 2014? In a decade, they've made 2 games. And while they've both been financially successful and technically and probably critically successful, they've not justified that kind of money.
So I can't find numbers, but in 2018, in September of 2018, Destiny was the highest grossing console game that month, which that's a while ago. But I don't know. I mean, it's got to be making money. You know what I mean? Year? In 2018, that was when Forsaken dropped.
Really?
Yeah. I'm trying to find numbers, but it doesn't look like they have to report.
That Forsaken dropped in 2018. I would have thought that was 2017, but
I mean, that's the date that is falling on. Yeah. But I could be wrong.
But I'm not saying it doesn't make money. I'm saying it's not worth that money.
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, obviously, like I said, the report about that Bungie was worth $2 billion, and then Sony paid 3.6.
Double that.
Yeah, double. I mean, yeah, that's outrageous. But
for Sony to say, "Hey, let's pay double your net worth. Don't worry, we're not going to do anything. We're not going to get involved. Everything's going to be the same. You guys are going to still self-publish and development's going to be independent." Like, what is this?
Well, so that's probably the most interesting thing for me. Okay, here we go. Joe's coming in with some numbers here. He says, I'm seeing figures like 300 million from Destiny 2 microtransactions in 2021.
I really
put your source, Joe. I trust you, but I'd love to read the article too.
Joe, I respect you, but that's something like
respect you. Steven hates Destiny real hard, so he needs some hard proof.
I'm a communication major. I did a lot of emphasis in journalism, so I'm really big on like citing sources and all that jazz. So like I need confirmation on that.
Kalen, they did make Halo way back in the day.
They did. They like a long time ago.
So there's a lot of branches we can go down, but I want to back it up to one Steven just kind of touched on, because I think we can all agree they probably spent more regardless of how successful Destiny actually is or not. The numbers say that they were worth $2 billion and they paid 3.6. So that they've already overpaid. That's crazy.
Google says they overpaid almost by double.
Yeah, but I want to talk about what you just said a minute ago, Steven, which was they're not changing anything. Like Bungie had a post that came out and they basically said that we are still in control of Destiny. We're going to be doing everything that we've been doing. We're going to keep going along with the path that we've been blazing. They've talked about like a central community. So like we're still going to have crossplay, all that stuff. It is still going to be available on other platforms. So there were a lot of memes about like certain things not working on Xbox anymore today, but those weren't true. Like everything is going to work across all platforms that's currently on.
Good news. Destiny still works on Xbox. Bad news. All loot is Edge Transit.
There you go. That's a great one. See, I saw one that was just like, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, lots of funny memes, but yeah, not true. Like it's going to be multi-platform. None of that's changing. So like you said, Steven, nothing's really changing. What Bungie in their official post, their one thing was they said the most immediate change you'll see is we about to start hiring fools. Like they were like, we're about to start hiring. That's exactly what they said. They put like a link in their post of like, here's where you can apply for some jobs we're looking for. But they're basically just going to ramp production. And so they've been working on, they announced that they were working on another game. I want to say like back in 2020. It's been a while now that we've known. What's up, James? It's been a while that we've known about it, but we don't know anything about it. There's some rumors that it's going to be like a hero shooter, kind of like.
Well, Destiny originally was going to be a hero shooter.
Yeah. Kind of like Overwatch, but like with all the Destiny characters, so like Cade or Zavala or
that bums me out.
So I hope it's not that. Yeah. Like I personally would love it to be just something completely different.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not Destiny related at all.
We know Bungie can do like cool world building and tell a competent story, and they make good gameplay. So like, don't milk Destiny for more than just Destiny. Destiny is such a big game that you don't really need to go beyond it. You know, like absolutely. Don't make a spinoff of the game that has a hard time being put in a box with what it can do with content. When Zer's hosting a game show with a celestial horse,
look, don't mess with Dares of Eternity, man. It's a lot of fun. James is bringing up a great point of like when you acquire companies, you always overpay. Not sure what you expected there. I agree, and I'm not a businessman, but to be told, hey, here's this Coke. Okay, this Coke is $2. Why would I pay $4 for it? Sure, and maybe that is the answer. It's like, well, that's how they're thinking of things, is like another billion is just as much as another dollar, you know? Like I could understand even if it was 3 billion, but 3.6, it's like, whoa, why the extra 0.6?
Well, Joe brought up something interesting that I didn't even think about. And this is not me putting on my tinfoil hat. This is me just kind of like connecting thoughts in my head, right?
Joe said, put that tinfoil hat on. I love it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's invisible.
For audio listeners, Steven just put on an invisible, very real though.
Very real. But Joe mentioned that Bungie was a subsidiary or partnered with Activision Blizzard in the past. And I've heard, I don't know what's rumor and what's hearsay or what's fact or whatever, but amongst the Activision Blizzard deal with Microsoft, I heard people say, and again, this is not me spitting fact, this is me just saying, like, discussing what I heard around the acquisition, that other companies were being considered. And so my thought is, well, could it be possible that Bungie was on the table for Microsoft and they dragged their feet and possibly tried to get more out of Sony in the deal that they had already discussed? Like maybe they were on the market, because it does seem like a very weird coincidence, the timing and the fact that, like James was saying, or not James, both have J names. It's not fair. that's weird that those two companies got acquired so close together. And I know these things don't happen overnight. Sony didn't slide into Bungie's DMs like at 3 o'clock, like, hey, you up, looking to get acquired by...
Sony saw the report and they texted Bungie like, hey, you up? It's like, this just happened. But it is interesting though, Steven, if you kind of think about it, because obviously Bungie started under Xbox. I don't understand the whole story of like how they left. Or I guess was Halo always? No, it wasn't 343. That's 343.
343 is who acquired it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, but anyway, Bungie started under Xbox, did Halo, left at some point. I'm not sure. I don't know that whole story. That was before I really was paying super happened, attention.
But I don't think it was like ill will or anything. I think
I'm pretty sure it was a mutual parting. I just don't. Yeah. I don't know. Like. I don't know.
Anyway. Yeah, James, you get on that. Like, your name is literally Alias, so I mean,
just put your name. Put your name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They left, and went. I don't know if they went to Activision. I assume that's just kind of they went straight to Activision. But either way, they ended up at Activision. Then they separated from Activision, and then Xbox acquires Activision, and then it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like Xbox was chasing them. You know.
Yeah,
and they just have hidden under Sony, almost as like a protection. Like,
we all know crazy. That the entire reason Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard is because they were just trying to flex on Bungie. They were just trying to, impress Bungie again, the one that got away. And then Bungie was like, Sony, please get me away from Microsoft. They've been drinking.
They hit me at night. Thank you, Joe. Bungie became independent in 2007. So that's awesome. But anyway, I do think, and I like that here it is, day one, this is announced. We already know, hey, it's going to be it's going to be everywhere. Nothing is really changing. Obviously some things will change. I'm sure PlayStation's going to get expansions early or have, bonus items or outfits or something that, I'm sure there's some BS that will come up, but I'm sure it will. I don't think it will ever be truly exclusive.
With
It has. And that, I could be wrong, but I don't think any of that ever stayed exclusive. It was always just early release or first access to blah, 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 blah. But I don't know. It's a crazy, crazy story. I feel like there was one other place I wanted to go with this, but I'm forgetting. I'm backing up.
Joe did mention while you're thinking about it. Joe did mention that means Sony has the opportunity now to make productions in film, TV, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Of Destiny, which, if they pursue that makes this make a lot more sense. But we just don't know. We don't know everything yet. And
I do think there has been talk of like a Destiny TV show or something.
They need to not do a TV show. They need to do a movie, unless if they're going to dump a crap load of money into a TV show. Destiny's one of those things that, like, you can't do a low budget sci-fi Destiny. It would not work.
No, there's a lot of cool effects that would have to happen in there.
But with the information we have, the deal doesn't make sense yet. But the fact that they could do that, yeah, that's great. But will they do that? That's the question. I am glad that they understand that it would be a just stupid move to make Destiny an exclusive IP. Because my reaction to this was, like, Destiny has always been one of those games that it falls in my book falls in the line with like Call of Duty, where it's a game that most people own or will try, but it's not going to sell a system.
Right.
That's just been my impression of the game. And I played for a long time.
And I mean, not to mention it's free. It's already free to play. Obviously you have to buy the expansions, but that's neither here nor there. Which I've seen a lot of people, funnily enough, calling out for Sony to do something where all of Destiny is free to Sony players, or not Sony players, but PSN subscribers.
I could see them including some expansions, but not anything up to date. Like, make it to where PSN gets everything that's like an entire year behind.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. That sounds more like something they would do. Anyway, just crazy. Anything else? I'm trying to think.
Wait, did I misquote you, James?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was going to say. I'm pretty sure that was James.
I meant James. I did know it was you, James. But again, these J names, there's too many of them. Jake's right in front of me. You're flanking me from all sides with these J's.
The J's are taking over.
The J's are attacking in a pincer formation. This is crazy.
But yeah, obviously I like Destiny, and I still play Destiny, so I'm very excited. This is a really fun thing for me. If you don't play Destiny or don't care about Destiny,
well, you as a Destiny player, though, what makes this exciting?
Just I think more so. What'd you say?
News, just anything.
No. I like to say that I am first and foremost a PlayStation gamer. Like, if you gave me all of the things, said, "Hey Jake, this game, we'll put it on whatever you want," I would say, "Can you put it on PlayStation and give me trophies? And then could you maybe do a Switch version?" Those would be my two, especially depending on the game. Those would be the two I'd want. But through the power of Game Pass, having a computer, I can be an Xbox gamer, and that's great. And I've really enjoyed having that freedom. But I want to play on PlayStation if I can. And so this is just, hey, Jake, now one of your favorite games is on PlayStation. So I see that as just good, all good. Which, I mean, obviously it's all, I know. It's always been on PlayStation, but like now it's for sure always going to be on PlayStation. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain it to you. It's just, I'm glad it's there. I'm glad it's mine. I'm just glad my team won, Steven. That's what I'm trying to say.
Did they?
I mean, it feels like we won. It feels like we won. You know what I mean? Can we expect? Okay. So Kalen is jumping in with all sorts of stuff happening over here. He's got all kind of facts.
How about that Gran Turismo state of play? Let's go, baby.
Yeah, he's mentioned the state of play, I think, twice now.
Yeah.
The state of play. There's a state of play for this Wednesday. It is focused on Gran Turismo. They said focused. I have no reason to think they'll talk about anything else. So I'm probably not gonna watch that one. I'm pass on that one. If you're into Gran Turismo, I'm really glad you're getting a state of play. But as somebody who does not, I'm just really happy for you. I'm not gonna be there, but you can tell me all about it. So, but without further ado, is there anything else you wanted to say, Steven, about the Bungie acquisition by PlayStation?
I don't like it. My whole thing
that was the other topic that we haven't gotten to yet, but the console wars, everyone buying up the third parties.
First of all, let me just say that the console wars mindset is stupid, and if you buy into the idea of Xbox is out there, they're gonna destroy the PlayStation because they got the Call of Duty and they play in 4D chess with these purchases. No, you're stupid. Stop it. That's not I hate that mindset, and it's hilarious because I thought we were over it.
Xbox has definitely been trying. Its players may not be, but Xbox as a company has definitely been trying to. We don't care. Just play it on whatever you want to play it on. Yeah, that's fine.
Xbox just wants you to be in their ecosystem. That's what they're about. But apparently the Xbox chads are still very vocal about their opinions, because today all I've seen is Sony players are okay, that happened, and Xbox players are nice try, Sony. Oh, you think that's gonna hurt us? It's so,
guys, I am not at all disagreeing with you. I am genuinely curious. Like, where have you been seeing? Is this on Twitter that you've seen this, or
I don't go to
Facebook?
Twitter.
Or
I
didn't think you did. That's why
I refuse to use Twitter because it's even more toxic than Facebook. So I use Facebook because I have to for work. So I figure might as well get some news there.
Are you on the Chortle Games Twitter?
Oh, hell no.
See, like you don't use ours?
No, I don't even have the app. I open up Twitter when Brody texts us a tweet, and I open it through the Chrome tab.
Well, what I was just gonna say is, I feel like the Twitter thread that Brody and I have cultivated through Chortle Games is very positive. I hear nothing but good things about any story. Comments. Well, apparently I'm missing something, but I was getting somewhere with that. Crap. Facebook. That's where you go? Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't like that it seems that we may be heading towards just the death of third party. Like there's just an arms race happening. And whether that's what Microsoft intends, whether they're just like buy up all the studios, don't ever have to make a Microsoft first party game again, just have them all do all the work.
Everyone will use Game Pass if that's all there is.
Right. Phil Spencer is determined to have Game Pass in every home. But like, I don't want this to just be the arms race that it seems like it's becoming, because third party is important. And it just seems like before long, we're going to have another monopoly situation, like with Disney buying up everything. And suddenly it's just a less creative space where everything is either Sony or Microsoft, or indie, or Nintendo, because they exist on their own island.
Nintendo's over here like, we bought a sandwich for $2 today. Yeah, I agree. That's the thing I'm probably the most scared of is just this becoming about, okay, how many things can we buy up? Yeah. At what point do we stop flexing on each other and just accept, that this is, I don't know what I'm trying to say. There's no, there's no point in it being too big corporations owning all of the games that are made. That's not fun for anybody. But it's weird though. It is kind of a catch-22 because like Bungie put in their thing, they are that like this is going to give them the ability to hire more. And now Bungie is a weird example to even give that, because like that's something you normally hear from like indie titles that get not even bought up, but just they get support from a Sony or an Xbox.
Right.
So it's just weird to hear that from this context. But either way, this is a good thing for Bungie because they have Sony at their backs. Which how much money Sony has after spending that much on Bungie, who knows? But either way, they are going to really be able to step up and do whatever they've been trying to do with Destiny.
But that's the thing, though, right? Like, to me, at least, my and Kaylin, I'll answer that question in a second. To me, the Bungie, what they've been quote unquote trying to do. And this is going to have a negative connotation to it, but that's not what I mean. They've been trying to survive. They need Destiny to work.
Right.
And so now that they do have essentially not a safety net, but some like the wind behind their backs, I guess, if you want to say that, does this change the way Bungie operates? Does this change the over monetization of Destiny, which is its biggest problem? We don't know, but like that's what I'm curious to see, is if this means Bungie's going to take more risks, if this means Destiny is going to stop feeling like the game that they need to succeed, otherwise they fail as a company. Like that's a big reason I stopped playing Destiny, is because it just felt like it was egregiously monetized because it had to be. Like Bungie felt like they had to charge you so much money just to play their game, and they started making a lot of money doing it, and they got to the point where they were thriving. And I don't like Destiny in that state, to where I feel like I have to spend X amount of dollars every few months
to really enjoy it.
And then more money once or twice a year for expansions, just to do chores and do the exact same thing over and over again for a story that I could get from an indie game better, or a better story that's not as good.
Right.
Like, it's just the thing that Destiny does that's like notable is that it has really good gunplay, and that's really been its only thing that I would say it has over a lot of things. It just hasn't really adapted or really done a lot, I feel, to make itself unique. And a lot of people would disagree with me that play Destiny now, because I hear Destiny's in a great place, but I don't know. I just don't see it. It's felt too much like, hey, let's monetize the hell out of this thing. And
I mean, all the things you've just praised it for are definitely, or not even, you did some of the things you weren't praising it, but like the chore thing. Like, I would definitely say that's still an element of the game. Right. But for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people who enjoy Destiny, I'm sure they would agree. Like, I honestly enjoy doing the chore type things because I'm getting to play more. And I just enjoy the loop and getting to play whatever I'm doing in it. But I totally get, and that's, you're justified in saying that that's not something you enjoy, and it's not necessarily even a good strategy for how to make a game, or how to make a successful game. But to get back to your hope of, of hoping that now that they have this backup and don't have to be struggling, to survive. I
guess I'm trying to say I hope that we see Destiny finally change out of this game that does a really good job of retaining the people that it grabbed. But for someone who, I get my looter shooter experience elsewhere, and I get it better from other places, because the things I value in a looter shooter, Destiny doesn't. Destiny, for people who enjoy the looter shooter, that like McCoy, for example, McCoy's a collector. And so Destiny is right up his alley, because Destiny is all about the grind and
they're adding new things for you to collect all the time.
That is not why I play looter shooters. I play looter shooters for the theory crafting, the building, like creating unique ways of play. That's something that I really value in it. And Destiny, in that way, and I'm not saying it's the same game that it's always been since launch, because obviously they've changed a little bit, but ultimately it hasn't really adapted or evolved or made new offerings that changed the game a lot. And I'm hoping that Destiny can start to really feel like that MMO that they keep saying that they want it to be, and that they fire Luke Smith, and that
poor Luke.
How dare you?
Poor me.
But Destiny's just not an interesting experience for me. Like, even if they didn't over monetize it, there's a chance that I probably wouldn't even play it, because I don't find the grind should not be the game, in my opinion. But with Destiny, the grind is the game. Like, getting the things is what they expect you to consider content, and I don't.
Right. Oh yeah. I
but
get that.
Again, that's just me, and they have no reason to appease me, because what they're doing clearly works. Because Destiny is a platform that basically makes money off of nostalgia and FOMO. That's like their primary market.
Well, what I was gonna get to from this whole conversation was, as much as I would like to hope that is what we're gonna have, is that Destiny is gonna back off on all the monetization because of this. I don't think that's gonna happen.
No, of course it won't.
For a lot of the same reasons that people have been saying, COD's not going to go exclusive, because you don't pay however much billions of dollars to not make money.
Right, exactly.
And so this is I don't see Bungie backing down on that very much. I do think they will get creative and do a lot of really cool expansions and stuff that maybe they were not afraid to do, but like knew it was a risk to spend that much money on something.
Like if they start throwing out there like new enemy types, new maps that aren't reused assets, they unlock the DCV, which is the worst thing ever created, and just where they make it to where there's clearly more effort being put into the content creation with new assets and stuff being implemented, where it very much feels like they spent money on what they're creating. Like maybe that'll happen. Of course they won't stop over monetizing it, because why would they? They don't have to. They make money. But which is why I ultimately see this as, until I'm given reason to see otherwise, and by reason I don't mean like potential. I mean like until they make an announcement that tells me, oh, this acquisition is a good thing. To me, it's not a good thing, because it's just Sony being like, haha, we have Destiny now, and Bungie's like, cool, we're gonna pocket that money and do nothing with it until I am told otherwise. That is the impression that I'm left with.
Well, I mean, they've already told you otherwise. They're hiring more people, and I mean that should be at least something.
It should be, but again, like I've been burned enough by companies over the years to where like I can't see things like this as good news until I'm given actual news that is tangible good, until they say this is our plan. Because like Division, for example, I love the Division, and they've said more content is coming, and I'm just like, okay, let me know when the content is. Let me know when it is, like when it's coming, what is it, all that stuff. Otherwise, for all I know, you're just saying this, but you're just actually sending this franchise out to die, and you're waiting for the right time to say that it's all been canceled.
Right.
Because that's the kind of stuff that crappy corporations do. And so I'm a cynic. I'm a realist, because at this point my cynicism is paid off enough to where it's just reality. I'm a realist, and so this is how I look at things. Like expect to be disappointed, and the worst that happens that you get what you expect.
Yeah, you're right.
And I've been saying that long before MJ said it in Spider-Man. She stole that from me.
She stole it from you. Joe, yes, MLB The Show, which it came to Xbox Game Pass last year, I believe, but it is coming back. It is going to be back. They are going to have it on Xbox Game Pass again. So that's I don't know if it's huge, but it's a big deal that happened and worked and went well. So very cool stuff. I feel like we've talked enough about Destiny, Steven.
If I may,
please.
Borderlands. I don't know if you look at any of the articles that I said, because you're probably tired of.
Oh, you want to talk about Wonderland?
Well, just because Kalen mentioned it, I wanted to clarify. Kalen, if you're still here, hope you're still here. The thing coming to Game Pass is not the new Tiny Tina's Wonderland game.
It is the
DLC from Borderlands 2, where they got the idea of Bunkers and Badasses, which is the D&D like game that you play in Wonderlands. So it's basically introducing you to the idea of Tiny Tina's Wonderland. So basically what we're getting for free is a standalone version of a DLC that came out a while ago. And it was a good DLC. People love it. It's the whole reason that Tiny Tina's Wonderland is happening. And I would say definitely get in play, because Borderlands 2 is the best Borderlands, and that DLC is possibly the best DLC. I never actually got to play it, so I might actually pick it up and try it. But that being said, Tiny Tina's Wonderland did get news today, and Kalen, thank you for asking that, because it gives me a natural segue. We got the final, I'm assuming they're the final two, but 2 new class announcements, as well as multi-classing will be in the game. So that means you pick a class at the beginning, but eventually you pick a second class so you can dual class.
Wow.
So the classes that will be in the game, and just because I feel like we haven't really talked about Tiny Tina's yet, and it's more and more getting my attention. Like, it's a game, I'm a fan of Borderlands. I'm not Austin tier to where I max out every character in the game and then I do it again just for the lulz.
For the lulz, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I'm a fan of Borderlands, and Tiny Tina's Wonderland seems like it's gonna be a lot of fun. But the classes that we are getting are the Berserker, as in like Shiffering Burr, because it's like a Berserker class that also uses ice magic, so its name is literally a pun. So there's that.
Perfect
one.
For Steven. He loves ice.
I'm actually puns. Not touching the Berserker, probably.
Wow.
Believe it or not, yeah. So there's the Clawbringer, which is, it sounds like a magic wielding paladin that focuses on, it's kind of like Thor if you wore heavy armor and also had a pet dragon. I only say Thor because you can throw your hammer and deal lightning damage. That is the only similarity. It got us there. The Stabomancer, which is like the stealth rogue. The
Stabomancer. So wait, you're telling me there's a Thor character?
I mean, you can throw a lightning hammer if that's enough to get you there to being a Thor character. Sure.
I'm my ears have been perked.
The Spellslinger, which is meant to be kind of like if you look at magic, like a gunslinger but with spells, so they can like cast a lot of quick spells and stuff. And newly announced today, let me check my Discord because Austin reminded me what it's called and I already forgot the name of it. Graveborn, which is basically a necromancer that gets a little minion that the whole concept is like high risk, high reward, using blood magic to sacrifice some health to do spells, and you have a minion that can also do spells, all that jazz. And lastly, the class that I will be maining probably, the Spore Warden, I believe. And Jake, I know you're going to say when you see it that this is the class that you're going to play, and I don't think I'm going to be able to sway you away from it because of literally one thing. But I do hope that you'll, if you do play this game, that you strongly consider the other classes, because I don't want you to be disappointed with the amount of bow, but this is the bow class. They have a ability, a single ability, where they fire seven arrows. And
that's a lot of arrows, Steven.
It's at once. It's like a like not a volley, but like a multi-shot. They knock them all and then fire it.
Yeah.
But they're basically like the nature character. They've got a pet mushroom thing, so they also have a companion. But the cool thing about all this is that you could potentially, like they did confirm that you can dual pet. Like they showed a Spore Warden that was multi-classed as a Graveborn, so they had the Graveborn minion along with their Spore minion.
Ooh.
So you could potentially, if literally the only thing you like about the Spore Warden, and I'm just saying this because I know you, if literally the only thing you like about the Spore Warden is a bow, but you want to play a Thor character, my understanding is that you could potentially play a Clawbringer, and then when it gets to dual class, you could choose Spore Warden and just put all of your dual class stuff into the bow ability and be a bow using
Thunder Hammer throwing.
Yeah,
amazing.
Something like that. I'm a big fan of dual class systems, and so when they said that, which I was not expecting at all, I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds awesome.
That's pretty dope in my book.
Read the article that I sent, because it was a whole article detailing this. They showed the trailer revealing the Graveborn and the Spore Warden, and like they're going all out with like the RPG stuff, because there's straight up D&D style stats like strength, wisdom, dexterity, intelligence, all that stuff that you apply to your character. So it really does feel like D&D made a Borderlands game, or D&D adapted into a Borderlands game. Ultimately, it's a Borderlands game, but they have a lot of D&D mechanics in it, and it's going to be goofy. It's going to have Andy Samberg and Will Arnett in it, which is fantastic. It's just going to be fun. I'm really excited. I definitely say look into it.
I need to look more into it, because I've kind of, I was on board when it was just Magic Borderlands, but I quickly tuned out when we first saw the gun crafting or whatever that was at one of the early trailers.
It's just very widely generated loot. Like you can get just wacky guns that aren't It's not like Destiny to where when like you're like, oh cool, I found an edge transit. It's oh cool, I found a Tediore gun that has 3 scopes on it and it fires grenades. That's random. But like it's all generated to where like there are different rules of like what different guns can be. But
the problem is, Steven, that you're still saying the word gun. You know what I mean? And I need you to say the word bow a little bit more.
Do you want me to like pull up the trailer right now to show?
I mean, I've seen the bow. I just want to know that there are more than one.
The bow, like the weapons you will be using, like the conventional weapons, are guns. I don't know if bows are in that. I don't even know if like there's equipable like melee weapons, but I do know that there are swords. I don't know if they're equipable or if it's an ability. Like it sounds like the loot is going to be Borderlands. Everything else is going to be like Dungeons and Dragons, to where you equip spells. You have a lot of spells. You can get different melee abilities. Yada yada yada.
I like that. So
it's a blend. And I mean, you play Destiny, which everyone's biggest comparison to Destiny when it first came out, Destiny 1, was it's Borderlands. So I think you'd like it. You just need to get the right game.
This is the one. This is the one to get me. If there's anything that's going to get me, this is the one.
Yeah.
Kaylin also brought up a while back, and I'm sorry, Kaylin, that I'm just now pulling it up, but our conversation has been flowing really well. I don't know that I'm going to do a full playthrough stream of Horizon, but I will definitely stream it when it comes out. I don't know, Steven, are you even getting Horizon?
Not till I beat the first one, or at least play the first one.
Gotcha. Now that's something that should be streamed.
I mean, I'd be open to that. And I have nothing against Horizon. In fact, I want to be into Horizon, but it's just one of those that like I can't even say bitten the bullet because I know I'd enjoy it. I just haven't played it yet.
No. You need to play it. It's a really good one. But golly, Horizon Forbidden West is going to be freaking out of this world. I mean, just it seems like the level of detail that they've put into the game is just going to be mind-boggling. And so I'm really excited to get into it and to get more hands-on with it. I'm very excited. But anyway, enough about all of that, Steven. Let's discuss Pokemon Legends Arceus, which we've both been playing. You've played a little bit more than me. I'm still kind of catching up to you.
Played a lot more than you.
Okay, all right. Let's
because I had way too much time on my hands the day it came out.
If Asher's daycare had not shut down, I would be just as far as you, because I had literally taken off time to.
You've had a more fulfilling life than I have over the weekend, spending time with your son. I've been just going on a Wurmple genocide, and that's how I spent my weekend.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Anyway, well, you've played a little bit more, and people have seen me stream it and have been watching me play it throughout the podcast. If they've been watching on YouTube or Twitch or Facebook or Twitter. What are your thoughts, Steven?
Good. It basically, the way I've been saying it is that it is what Pokemon should have become like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I say specifically 10 years ago because, one, Pokemon really hasn't ever evolved, even though it needed to. Thanks. And the changes they've done here are things that I feel like people would not have been out of the realm of possibility asking for around the time we got X and Y.
Right.
It doesn't feel like that advanced of a game, but it feels like a game that we've wanted to play for a while.
Absolutely, yeah.
But that being said, another reason I say 10 years ago is because it feels like they forgot a lot of the lessons they've learned in the past 10 years with this game. Like for every cool little thing that they do that makes you be like, oh, wow, that's really neat. there's something where you're just like,
why did they do it this way?
Why we do it this way? We've been doing it a better way for so long now. And it's weird. Like, not being able to have your Pokemon out following you is strange. That one I can understand because it's just a lot more animation work and stuff. But like, when you fight a Pokemon trainer, which happens out of nowhere, you could be picking berries in the middle of a field, and some guy who looks like a trader comes up to you and he's like, "Hey, you want some rice cakes? Also, battle me right now."
Like in the old games, that's what you're saying?
No, in this game. Like you don't know when you're like, there's random moments where you enter a cutscene and you weren't expecting to. And like that cutscene has a battle, and there's nothing that really makes you think, "Oh, I'm totally going to battle somebody." And that's fine. But the problem is when you aren't expecting it and the game doesn't let you choose the first Pokemon you send out, you often will send out the Pokemon that you're training by sending out to harvest things to his death against a Pokemon that outlevels him and is way stronger than yours, because for some reason they make Pokemon that trainers have way more powerful than every other Pokemon.
That's one thing I've noticed is battles are a lot harder than they've ever been.
Particularly trainer battles.
Trainer battles, yeah. I don't know what has been why that's been the case, but it has really been tough.
Yeah. And another thing, which this is wild because this is like, I could be crazy, but I'm fairly certain that ever since Gen 1, or at least Gen 1 did this, when you are fighting a trainer and you defeat one of their Pokemon, it tells you Gary is about to send out Meowth.
Yes.
Who will you send? This game doesn't do that.
Doesn't do that.
Nope. Why?
A lot of really weird deal. A lot of really weird choices.
Yeah, I just don't get it, because like, clearly they put thought into this game and they did things that they've probably been wanting to do for a while. Why'd they stop there?
Yeah. That's you mentioned, you said for every small thing that they've done, there's a lot of small things that they didn't do. But the difference here is, I think this is a huge departure for what you would normally expect from a Pokemon game.
Right.
But yet it does have a lot of holes, and hilariously holes that Pokemon has always filled before. So why didn't they just bring it up to this now? Right. It's crazy that like, and one thing that's annoying me right now is, in every other game, even if your Pokemon died in battle, if they participated in the battle, they got that experience. That doesn't happen in this game. If the Pokemon dies, it doesn't get any experience.
And that's one of those things where, because turn order is kind of weird and doesn't explain itself either, you could be fighting a trainer and there could be a Pokemon that you sent out specifically to deal with the Pokemon that it sent out, and then it sends out the polar opposite of the Pokemon that you sent out, and before you even get the chance to change Pokemon, they get a move and they slaughter you.
Yep.
Because like it doesn't let you strategize. Like it's almost like they did things to make the combat have more depth, like agile style and strong style, which adds a lot more than you would think on the surface. Like they added stuff like that to give more opportunity for creative thinking and strategizing, but they leaned even harder into the game just being a rock, paper, scissors game, because it really does seem like no matter what level difference, if you throw rock and they throw paper, you're done.
Pablo's pointing out, he said later in the game, trainers literally 3v1 you out of nowhere, and you're stuck fighting with only one.
Yeah, what the hell?
Pokemon. What's that about? I literally just fought a bunch of skunks all at once, and I could only use one Pokemon. Why can't I throw out more Pokemon?
That was one of the worst fights in the game so far.
Y'all all just watched me like
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that like Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which was the remake of Gen 2, I'm pretty sure we were doing dual battles back then, to where like I could send out 2 and they could send out 2.
Yes,
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure
we've had that for a while. I can't think of a game in recent memory
We've had it for
that didn't at least have an option every now and then.
Right. And it was a cool dynamic.
Yeah, it's a great dynamic. Coliseum, one of my favorite things about it was that I'm pretty sure every single battle just about was a double battle. And I wish that was, I love double battles. Double battles are awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry.
It just doesn't make sense. This game feels like it was an experiment made by someone who's played Pokemon games before, but never like made a Pokemon game before or something, or like made a Pokemon game but never played. Like there's a disconnect somewhere and I can't figure out what it is. But like,
yeah, it's good.
Like I wanted a solid.
It's so good. It's so much better than I could have ever hoped it would be. But like we've said, there's just so many weird Nintendo or Pokemon company choices that don't make any sense. So
yeah.
And I've said from the get-go that my hope and my main goal with this game is that I just want them to see this game succeed. And I literally want them to just go, oh, wait a minute, people liked this? Like we thought, we'll do this.
We put the intern on this game. What the hell?
yeah, literally. It's like, people want an open world like Breath. I know you're gonna hate this, Steven, but I'm just using it for what people are saying.
Not Breath of the Wild.
I agree with you. I'm vocalizing what people have said.
People are dumb.
Pokemon's here and people say, they want an open world. They want something Breath of the Wild eyes. Like, look, let's just throw the intern on it. Show them. Let's give it to them. And when they don't like it, we can say, see, you didn't like it, and move on. But what I hope is they'll look at this and go, holy crap, no, people really have been wanting this. Like this is doing great. This is blowing up. So that's all I hope for this game is that it blows up. It does really well. It gets Pokemon's attention. And when we get the next mainline game, they say, wow, okay, the wild areas and Sword and Shield were popular. We did Arceus, which was a huge expansion on that concept. Oh my God, there's a giant skunk. We did that experiment. We expanded it with Arceus, and I hope the next mainline Pokemon game is more like Legends of Arceus than it is any other Pokemon game that's come before it.
But here comes,
here comes old again. Papa Steven with old skepticism here.
Hold on, let me look up something.
I thought you were going to be like, hang on, let me put on my skepticism hat.
Okay. Just using this as an example. IGN gave Arceus a 7, which I would say is accurate. I would say it's a solid 7.
Yeah.
Guess what they gave Sword and Shield? A 9.
A 9.
A 9. And that is my worry, is that sure, this is a great departure of what we've had. It's better. Like, it's headed in a better direction than Pokemon has been since like Gen 2.
Mm-hmm.
But because Pokemon fans are such shills towards everything Pokemon, and like the fact that Pokemon Snap exists as a modern full price game and it sold well, that's telling of how easy it is to just take the money of Pokemon fans. And people legitimately enjoy these things, but I say this about everything. Like if I am ever Debbie Downer about any movie, TV show, game, whatever on this podcast, which I am basically every single week, it's like clockwork. It's because I want.
There's a couple things you can count on in life: taxes.
The sky
death.
is blue. Pay your taxes. Steven will hate on something.
Steven will hate on something.
But I'm always critical of things because if I stop saying that developers, directors, whatever should do better, then I'm feeding into the idea that they don't have to try anymore. And Pokemon is the perfect example of why should we try? Because and I can't even completely blame Game Freak for it, because they have such just a cash cow on their hands to where they literally re-release the same game over and over and over again. Then they re-release the game, and it sells like hotcakes. So like, they're making their money over there. Why should they put effort into making something that could be not what people want? And so that is why I just constantly try to tell people, like, raise your expectations. Look, expect things to be better, or at least desire for them to be better. Don't expect them to, because then you won't get what you expected. That's
right.
But expect the possibility of developers doing better things, and don't just say, wow, this thing is a 10 out of 10 because it's like that thing that I enjoyed that one time. Like, dream big. Like, make like in your head, think of like, well, what could they do with Pokemon? Okay, we've got Arceus is a great example of what they could do. Demand that. If they try to release the same crap again, they release another Pokemon Sword and Shield XY whatever re-released, don't buy it.
Well, I mean, it's one thing for a re-release, but like, yes, if the next mainline Pokemon game doesn't even expand on the wild area, like then we, and it's so difficult, right? Because like, as a Pokemon fan, I'm gonna play almost anything they put out there because I love Pokemon. But like, how do I express to them, hey, I want change? Like, obviously we will talk about it on the podcast, right? And I know Mr. Nintendo listens. He writes me letters every once in a while about how much he loves the podcast.
Doug Bowser, chortlegames.com is his homepage.
Yes, it is. It's the first page that comes up on his morning. He's
absolutely.
reading his coffee. He's reading his coffee.
He's reading his coffee.
He's reading his coffee leaves. He's just
read
the morning paper. He just drank the paper. He's having a great morning, and he opens up his computer and he looks at our faces. You know what I mean? That's what happens every morning for Doug Bowser. But still, like, I don't know. It's just a question of when are they gonna. I think they are listening. It's just, when are they going to go for it? You know what I mean?
I have a question for you, because
Steven,
you presented. Yes,
Steven, if you know anything about me, it's that I love questions from you.
I don't know about that. So, and this
as long as the questions don't pertain to Breath of the Wild, I love questions from you, Steve.
We still need to finish that conversation.
Yes, we do. We need to have a mature conversation about that.
Because whatever. Shut up, Joe. But this is a legitimate question. No hate, no judgment.
Yes.
Did you beat Sword and Shield?
Yes, I beat it.
Okay.
Now, Pokemon games, there's always, I have never, as a Pokemon fan, ever completed a Pokedex.
Right.
I told myself I would with Sword and Shield because I had a lot of fun with it. There is some post-game content, and it's basically just go back to all the gyms and fight a new, like, villain, or not villain, but like there's like a Dynamax Pokemon that like has gone crazy in the gym, and you have to fight it. So like, you kind of retread the main story, which is all fine and dandy. Like, if you want more, then it's great. I think at that point, by that time, other games were coming out, and it's like, okay, cool. I've beaten this. I can move on. But like, even I remember there was some sort of DLC that came out. I think it was DLC, where it was like a new battle training system or something. I forget the details. Anyway, I never went back and did that. But yes, I did beat Sword and Shield.
Because you present a good point, which is, as a Pokemon fan, how do I speak with my wallet? Like, if I legitimately enjoy these games, how do I tell them that I want more when I still enjoy what they're releasing? Like, that's an interesting conversation.
Here is to me, this is it's a struggle, because, as I've already said, and you've said, Pokemon fans are going to buy what they want. Initially, when they showed us Legends, I was just like, nah, thanks, fam. Like, that's not for me. I like what you're doing.
Did you buy Pokemon Snap?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay, but see, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Pokemon Snap. I said no. I don't want any of this. The Diamond and Pearl remakes. If they had done it, and this is again a weird Nintendo / Pokemon company decision. Why did they do a different art style than the Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevees? If they had just taken what they did with Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu and just said, "Hey, we're gonna do Diamond and Pearl now."
Yeah,
I'd have bought that. I'd have pre-ordered that. I'd have been all over that shit. But they chose, for whatever reason, to do this weird chibi art style. And like, don't get me wrong, it's cute and that's fine. It's, in my opinion, just not as cool as what they did with.
Yeah,
I think Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee looks better than that. And from what I've heard, people are not super jazzed about the Diamond and Pearl remix.
That's great, because then that means that they can look at, hey, here's a remake that we made, not doing so well. Here's an experiment that we did, and it's selling really well and being reviewed really well. Maybe that's why they did it. Maybe that intern got in the head of somebody and was like, hey, re-release this game, but make it suck.
Man, that intern's doing a lot of good work over there at the Pokemon Company. We gotta find this kid's name. We gotta get him out there. All right, this guy.
Right. That's why he left. He moved to Japan to just infiltrate Game Freak. He's got a wig on.
He's got a wig on. Why does he get a wig? Who did you say it was?
Reggie.
Oh, Reggie. Okay. I was like, why would they know? Why?
Somebody check up on Reggie. See what he's doing.
He's trying to keep GameStop afloat, from what I remember.
Which
that's all he's up to.
I guess, like, to kind of throw this into the conversation of, as a Pokemon fan, how do I get these games that I want to play, but at the same time make a stand for wanting more? You would say GameStop, just buy pre-owned. Like, seriously, don't let Game Freak get any of that money. Because, pre-owned copies, I gotta chill out to GameStop because I worked for them. But pre-owned copies, that all goes in GameStop's pocket. But like, Game Freak doesn't need your money. They really don't. They're swimming in it. But if you really want to play the game, just buy it in a way where Game Freak doesn't see any of that revenue, so that you can still enjoy the content, but you don't just feed into the illusion that Pokemon fans aren't capable of wanting more.
This is what frustrates me about Pokemon Company when it comes to games. Like you said, Steven, they don't need our money. Like, they are, between the anime and, good God, just merch in general, they are swimming in that Pokemon money. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So why are the games?
Why are they?
Obviously, I know the Switch cannot do something to the quality of, like, I'm talking about gameplay and like visual quality of something like Last of Us Part 2.
Can you imagine?
Like, I know the Switch couldn't run that.
Right.
But we have stuff like Breath of the Wild, which has a very specific art style, but it looks amazing.
It looks beautiful, yeah.
And has very few, that's a weird Nintendo decision, like, kind of things. Why do the Pokemon games always have these issues, right?
You want me to? I mean, it goes right into what we've been talking about, because, like I said in the text message, that I don't know if you read all of it about Breath of the Wild, but it was because Zelda needed to change.
Right.
Zelda was progressively selling less, and so they got into a position where a fire was lit underneath them, and they had to make something that was new, because the player base that grew up on Zelda outgrew Zelda, the game that was overly handheld, but it was the perfect introduction into RPGs. But then we found Skyrim, Witcher, all these other things, and so Zelda needed to make moves, and so they got people that were visionaries and that wanted to do something new and different, and they put them to work. And the reason we don't get that with Pokemon is because they don't have a fire lit under them, because they have this fan base that buys whatever they put out. Zelda has a fan base that's diehard and loyal, but they're nowhere near the Pokemon people.
Yeah.
And so Pokemon doesn't make those games because they don't have to. So why put resources towards it when Pokemon isn't, in large part, there have been a lot of games like Pokemon, like Monster Sanctuary is a great indie that does Pokemon better than Pokemon. Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin is what I almost said. Wings of Ruin.
Wings of Wades
is the best Pokemon game I've ever played. But it's not the Pokemon characters. It's not all the nostalgia and Pokemon conventions and everything that we grew up on. So it doesn't sell as well.
Right.
And that's why they don't do anything about it, because their fan base won't speak with their wallet. And it's like I was saying earlier, it's hard to do when it's a game that you legitimately enjoy and you're okay with getting the same thing over and over again. You buy it. But like, that's just something that they need to have a fire lit under them. They need to fail. Honestly, Pokemon needs to fail for them to change. I don't see them ever doing that when IGN's out there giving Sword and Shield a 9, and the first new foray into something that's different in any way, a 7.
Yeah. Well, I think they're at least starting to listen and starting to pay attention, because we regardless of whether they believed in it or not, we have Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Yeah, the fact that Arceus exists, and even if you just play it, you can tell this is an experiment, and you don't make an experiment if you're not anticipating the results. And they very much did that with the mindset of, what could we do with this? And so that's why it does need to succeed. And I feel like it has been succeeding, but at the same time, when are we going to see that payoff? And if they come back from the results of Arceus's release and they're just like, okay, here's how it did, what do we do with this? And they really start to consider the cost and the further risk of doubling down on Arceus like mainline game, will they really commit when they know they could just pump out another remake and make the same amount of money?
Yeah.
Like, I know that's like really cynical to say, but it's the truth. It just is.
I mean, you're right. They don't have the fire, but I hope they don't have the fire, but they are listening. And so it might take a couple generations, but hopefully we'll eventually get something that's really just up to snuff.
I don't know if they're listening, but they're definitely asking the question. I think we've yet to see if they're listening.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Steven. That's a really good way to put it. Trying to see if there was anything. Was there any? I mean, I don't even know that I've really given my thoughts on it, but I would say I would summarize exactly what you said, Steven. Of just, I really like it. I like it way more than I thought I would. But just weird decisions. Why did they do certain things that they did? But anyway, I have all my evolutions, so I can't complain. That's I don't have them yet, but they're in the game. And that's what's important. I will eventually have them. But anyway, I think that's really all we had to discuss for tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Chortle Cast. We do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, you can, of course, follow us.
How was that only an hour?
Right? That's what I just was sitting here looking. I was like, how is it only 9:20? I was expecting it to be 11,
and it's like, what?
Yeah, I don't know. Something weird has happened with my schedule today. I'm like, I texted you at 7. I was like, hey, I can probably start at 8. And then next thing I knew, it was like 7:30, and I was in here ready to go. And I was like, what is happening? Like, why am I so far ahead right now? But anyway, this has been Chortle Cast, the official podcast of Chortle Games. If you liked what you heard or saw or listened to, it's the same thing as heard. You can subscribe to chortlegames.com. That's our YouTube channel, where you can see us do the podcast, do live streams, all that good stuff. You can also see us do all of that on Chortle Games, or twitch.tv/Chortle_games, and Facebook and Twitter, both at Chortle Games. So lots of fun stuff we're doing out there. You can catch us pretty much anywhere you like. And then, of course, also, this is a podcast, so it does go to Apple Podcast and Spotify. So if you're an audio listener, feel free to listen on those platforms if you'd like. But podcast isn't the only thing we do. We also do live streams throughout the week. And we normally live stream on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. We occasionally have a Wednesday night stream with Sentinels on the Multiverse. When it can happen, when we don't have technical issues, which we've had. That is like now. The cursed series, right? Because first off, we're already juggling several people being a part of that. But then the last 2 nights, or at least we've had 2 streams where we were ready to go.
This past we had everyone there, and then 2 before that, or the one before the one. 2 before that.
The one before the break, we had everything ready to go, and then next thing you knew, it wasn't working, right? Anyway, are we planning to do that this Wednesday, Steven? Is that the plan?
That's the question, isn't it? Because I usually don't find out from people whether or not that's
until
happening.
Like day of, absolutely, yeah.
So just keep an eye on the Discord link in the channel banner for if that's happening, and I'll try to notify you guys as soon as I know. But it's just it tends to be very last minute. But the plan is to attempt to do it every week. And the rule that I'm going by is if we have less than 4, we don't do it. So, and we've got a backup in Jeremy that thankfully we haven't had to use yet. I say thankfully, not to say that I don't want Jeremy playing it, because I do. I think he'd enjoy it. But we thankfully haven't had to like get somebody out because they've missed or anything like that. It's been a lot harsher than I intended it to.
No, I understand.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
All right, Asher is just now waking up, so I'm going to end the stream here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.